Good evening, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, students. You are kindly requested to please take your seats. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Doctor Honoris Causa conferment ceremony of the European University Cyprus School of Medicine. Please remain at your seats for the processional. The platform party of the School of Medicine is now entering with Dr. Theodoros Litras, Chairperson, Professor Anastasis Stefanou, Dr. Iva Zetanova, Dr. George Georgiou, Dr. Irene Cotter, and Dr. Christina Gusparou. The Senate is now entering the ceremony arena with Dr. Petru Daniel, Dr. Iliadis Zimonos, Dr. Evi Faransi, Dr. Violetta Rafei, Professor Elpida Nicolusi, Professor Apostolos Zoraminos, Dean of the School of Sciences, Professor Panos Papagiotis, and Vice Rector of Academic Affairs, Professor Moises Simeou. Following our members of the Senate are Professor Elizabeth Johnson, Dean of the School of Medicine, Professor Ioannis Patrikios, Deputy Dean of the School of Medicine, Professor Thomas Zuthoff, Nobel Laureate in Physiology or Medicine in 2013, and Professor Andreas Evstathiou, Rector of European University Cyprus. Please be seated. Dr. Christoforos Chatikourianou, CEO and President of the Council of University. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, dear students. Welcome to the Doctor Honoris Causa conferment ceremony of European University Cyprus School of Medicine. We are proud to have with us as we confer the title of Honorary Doctor of Professor Thomas Zuthoff. I would like to invite the Rector, Professor Andreas Evstathiou, to the podium for a short address.
Good evening, everyone. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, dear students. It is my great pleasure and honor to address you this evening on the occasion of the conferment ceremony for the award of Doctor Honoris Causa to Professor Thomas Zuthoff. Professor Zuthoff, a renowned biochemist known for his study of synaptic transmission, was the recipient of the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine in 2013 for his work on vesicle trafficking, together with two other scientists. At European University Cyprus, one of the most historic academic institutions in Cyprus, with roots going back to the early days of the establishment of Cyprus as a republic, we consider that our most important asset is our people. We are very proud that our academic community has been enriched in recent years by a number of academics who are also Nobel laureates in the area of medicine and chemistry. These distinguished scientists attended one of the multi-thematic biomedical congresses organized by the School of Medicine in the last decade. Our institution has come a long way since its founding more than 60 years ago. An ever-increasing number of our faculty and researchers collaborate with scientists in some of the finest universities in the world. Our faculty also coordinate or participate in a number of prestigious projects which are funded by the European Commission, the Research and Innovation Foundation here in Cyprus, and numerous other funding agencies. Our research activity in the last 10 years increased at the average rate of about 20 to 30% per year, boosting external research funding and publications in peer-reviewed journals. As a result, the university already ranks among prestigious universities around the globe in rankings such as the Times Higher Education World University Rankings. Ladies and gentlemen, There is no doubt that we live in very interesting but also very troubled times. Advances in technology, such as, for example, artificial intelligence, have the potential to bring about positive transformations in our lives. Medicine, in particular, could be one of the main beneficiaries of advances in AI. And this was recognized in this year's Nobel Prize awards to scientists who developed an AI model to solve the problem of predicting the complex structures of proteins. At the same time, however, AI may pose significant risks which, if not addressed properly, could have negative impact to our society. The nightmare of war continues to plague our continent and region. In this environment, European University Cyprus reaffirms its commitment for international collaboration and welcomes students and academics from all over the globe who are interested to work towards a better world. Dear Professor Sudov, we are very proud and honored that you join our academic community today. There's absolutely no doubt in our mind about the significant impact your presence will have to the academic life of our university and the development of our faculty and students. I would like to conclude by wishing you warm congratulations and by extending our best wishes for success in all your endeavors and all your professional and personal aspirations. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rector Evstapiou. I would now like to invite the Dean of the School of Medicine, Professor Elizabeth Johnson, to present the laudation of Dr. Thomas Zutroff.
President of the Council and CEO, Dr. Chatzikyprianou, dear Rector and members of the Senate, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and dear students. Today, we have the distinct privilege of gathering to bestow one of the highest accolades that a medical school can offer, an honorary doctorate. This honor is reserved for individuals who have demonstrated exceptional dedication, extraordinary achievements, and profound impact in the field of medical science. And today, we celebrate a truly remarkable individual, Professor Thomas C. Zutroff, and his outstanding contributions to the medical community. Now, Professor Zutroff's formative years began in the historic towns of Göttingen and Hanover in Germany, where he was raised by a family dedicated to the medical profession. Both of his parents were clinicians, his father a respected doctor and academic in internal medicine. His early years were shaped by profound intellectual and moral influences, particularly from his grandparents, whose resilience and wisdom made a lasting impact. His grandmother, who lived through World War II and its aftermath, inspired him with a deep respect for intellectual life, sharing stories of courage and perseverance during times of great adversity. In a fitting turn of fate, Professor Zutroff now lives in San Francisco, where his father had once trained, marking a full circle in his personal and professional journey. I'm saying this because it's hard not to envision how Professor Zutroff's early experience may have impacted his career choices and his inclinations. Professor Zutroff received his MD and doctoral degrees from the University of Göttingen in 1982, where he had performed his doctoral research at the prestigious Max Planck Institute for Biophysical Chemistry. Following medical school, he was drawn to academic medicine, as his father had been. Pursuing this path led him to the University of Texas Southwestern Medical School in Dallas, where he joined the laboratories of Dr. Joseph Goldstein and Michael Brown. During his time in their lab, Goldstein and Brown were awarded the Nobel Prize in 1985. Their mentorship and influence were pivotal, and Professor Zutroff reflects on this period as one of great significance. At the University of Texas Southwestern, Professor Zutroff became the founding chair of the Department of Neuroscience. Here, his research into synaptic transmission, a complex and largely unexplored frontier at that time, laid critical groundwork for our understanding of how neurons communicate with precision and speed essential for human cognition and behavior. In 2008, Professor Sudov joined Stanford University as the Avram Goldstein Professor in the School of Medicine. Here, he embarked on a new chapter of his career focused on how neural circuits form and function. His research transformed our understanding of the brain's intricate communication networks, including cellular mechanisms that underlie key neurologic and psychiatric conditions such as autism, schizophrenia, and Alzheimer's. In recognition of these monumental contributions, Professor Sudov was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine in 2013, which he shared with two fellow biochemists, James Rothman and Randy Sheckman. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are here to honor a visionary, a dedicated scientist, and an individual who has advanced our understanding of medicine in profound ways. Professor Sudov, we bestow on you this honorary doctorate with profound gratitude and admiration of your contributions. Your pioneering work has reshaped the future of neuroscience. Your legacy will inspire our medical students, those professionals, researchers, and leaders to come. Thank you, Professor Sudov, for inspiring us all. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Johnson. I would like to invite the Deputy Dean, Professor Ioannis Pandrigios, to read the School of Medicine resolution on the award of the title of Honorary Doctor to Thomas Zutov.
Resolution to award an honorary doctorate of medicine to Professor Thomas C. Zutov. Whereas Professor Thomas C. Zutov has promoted the advancement of medical science with international impact, awarded the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine in 2013, serving the needs of humanity with his pioneering work on how neutral circuits form and function. The councils of the Department and School of Medicine, at its meeting on May 17, 2024, recommended to the Senate of European University Cyprus to resolve that the School of Medicine of European University Cyprus award an honorary doctorate in medicine at the 12th International Multi-Thematic Biomedical Congress on November 9, 2024, to Professor Thomas C. Zutov.
Thank you, Professor Pandrigios. I would like to invite Professor Andreas Evstathiou, Rector of the European University Cyprus, to read the Senate resolution on the award of the title of Honorary Doctor to Professor Thomas Zutov.
Resolution. Following an unanimous recommendation of the Council of the School of Medicine, a decision of the Senate, and the ratification by the Council of European University Cyprus, whereas Professor Dr. Thomas C. Zutov has significantly contributed to the science of medicine, developing an acclaimed international scientific activity, the School of Medicine, the University Senate, and the Council unanimously decided to award him the title of Honorary Doctor of Medicine, and the Rector to serve him this resolution on the date of inauguration in the city of Nicosia, Cyprus, on the 9th of November, 2024. Thank you.
Thank you, Rector Evstathiou. I would like to invite Rector Stathiou, Dean Johnson, and Professor Patrikios for the academic investiture of Professor Thomas Zutov. It is with honor that I would like to invite Honorary Doctor of European University Cyprus School of Medicine, Professor Thomas Zutov, to give his conferment speech.
Good evening, dear Rector, dear audience. I would like to express my deep gratitude. I'm not only honored and pleased, more than pleased by this wonderful occasion, but I'm truly grateful for the recognition that is inherent in an award like this. Not only a recognition of our own work, but I hope and I think recognition of the work of other scientists and educators like myself. As you probably guess, I spent most of my time trying to solve scientific problems and to train people. In doing so, the reward, the satisfaction of this work doesn't come from awards or doctorates or Nobel Prizes or any of this, although these often somewhat quaint recognitions are really wonderful. They are a manifestation of an achievement, of an advances in our disciplines, in our work that I treasure. But the true satisfaction of what we do comes from three components, at least for me, and for most of the other scientists and educators that I know. One is very, very important, training people. There are actually not many awards for training people, but I can tell you that it is both challenging and extremely satisfying if one is able to train people, to educate people, to teach people so they can become able to solve problems that we or I were unable to solve. This has really, for me, been one of the most unexpected but greatest pleasures as a scientist to see people who I've trained go on and do better than I ever did. And I hope I can continue that. The second component is the joy of discovery. We are not driven in our work by immediate kind of milestones or key performance indicators, as they often call it, KPIs. For us, it is truly a pleasure to actually understand something. And that is also part of what we are trying to teach the next generation, to teach our trainees, to make them understand and feel the same pleasure in the ability to understand something, even something that somebody else discovered. But certainly findings, observations, truths that we ourselves discover and can then communicate. That pleasure of discovery, of understanding, of insight is irreplaceable. And I do treasure awards like this one in recognizing the achievements that have been made and that were fueled by that pleasure in the end. And so I hope that some of you have also had the same experience, and for the students here, that they will go on and treasure these types of experiences themselves. This doesn't need to be in science, and certainly not in fundamental science like I do. It can be in many other areas of life. But I think that that is an innately human pleasure, and certainly the substance of all scholarship. The third satisfaction is observing and helping to translate discoveries into applications. I think most of us would really like to see practical outcomes of what we do. Those are sometimes long in the making. Sometimes it takes years or even decades until discoveries are actually useful. We should never try to make discoveries based on an anticipated use, because it is impossible to anticipate use of something you haven't discovered yet. It's just simply illogical, right? For example, the Nobel Prize that was given for COVID-19 was based on discoveries that happened decades before and had no use whatsoever. They were sitting there until the occasion arose, but we all benefited from it because those discoveries enabled vaccines, and not only vaccines, they enabled a completely new field in medicine, a new way of administering medicines that weren't possible before, and that weren't even envisioned when these experiments were done. I think the satisfaction that derives from, in the end, at some point, seeing something develop, blossoming out of what one has discovered, is the third pillar of reward that we as scientists derive. And so I'm hoping that for those of you who are active scientists, who are clinicians, who are students, that you will also participate in these pleasures and these rewards, because I think that that's really what makes us, in some ways, in a more broader perspective, human. I think that those specific rewards that we as scientists can experience are really very, very similar to many other human activities. I believe that, for example, the pleasure in teaching people, the pleasure in understanding, the pleasure in getting something done that is helpful for others, all those are really things that happen outside of science as well. Even though I myself only realized them as key drivers of what we do as I became a scientist and spent my life doing science. As a scientist, we are honored to have the opportunity to be awarded an honorary doctorate like this occasion here. And I'm very grateful for this, because I think that manifestations, if I can call it that, of advances, of discoveries, of achievements like this are an essential component for our work as well. And I'm very, very grateful for this occasion. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and congratulations, Honorary Dr. Professor Thomas Suttorf. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, you are kindly requested to remain in your seat until the recessional is complete and the platform party and faculty have left. Thank you.